This is the power of it. Don't you settle for less. If you just give your best, then you will have success.
Welcome back for another lesson, first grade. Good morning, discovering stars. Good morning, joyful stars. And good morning, vibrant stars. Today's lesson is actually on one of my favorite topics, and it's all about adjectives. Stay tuned to learn more. Here are today's objectives for today. Number 1, I can identify what an adjective is. And 2, I can use at least 3 adjectives to describe a particular object or person. So by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to do these 2 things. Let's get started. But before we get started, we of course have to go over our norms for today. Number 1, I can use my listening ears. Number 2, I can participate. Number 3, I can use my best reading and thinking skills. And number 4, most importantly, I can have fun. An adjective is a word that describes an animal, person, thing, or thought. Adjectives include words that describe what something looks like and what it feels like to touch, taste, or smell. Adjectives can be colors or words that describe temperatures and sizes. In our writing, it's very important to include adjectives because it gives a picture to the reader of what we're trying to say. It also makes our sentences more vibrant and colorful. Here is an example of some adjectives that you can use in your writing. Stinky, clean, tiny, bald, heavy, juicy, delicious, quick, bumpy, loud, striped, sharp, and a few more. On the right, I wrote 3 sentences using 3 of the adjectives in the box. Number 1, I found a heavy box in my bedroom. The word heavy is describing the box. So therefore, heavy is my adjective. Number 2, my mom put the stinky diaper in the trash. Stinky is describing the diaper. Therefore, that is the adjective. Number 3, my teacher fell on the slippery floor. Can you guess what word slippery is describing? Excellent. It's describing the floor. So that is my adjective. Now you try and use 3 of these words in a sentence. Share it with someone next to you. All right, first grade. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at this tree and we're going to use adjectives to describe things on the tree. So if I look at these beautiful flowers, I can use the adjectives pink, beautiful. If I touch it, it's very soft. So I can use those 3 adjectives. And if I touch these branches, it's very prickly. Smooth, yet soft. And brown for the color. And if I look at the leaves are actually really, really fuzzy. So I'm sure you can think of more. And if you can, send them to your teacher. Here is a picture of me when I went to Egypt in Africa to visit the pyramids. So right before I took this picture, I was actually riding on a camel throughout the desert. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use some adjectives to describe the things that we see in the picture. I created a short list for you. Sandy, hot, windy, bright, rocky, and tan. So you can look at me and see that I have on a short sleeve shirt and no jacket, which tells you that it's probably really hot outside. You can also see that it's very sandy and there's lots of rocks on the ground. Now you can infer based on the fact that I'm wearing sunglasses that it might have been very bright outside. Now, tan is describing the color of the sand and even the background. You don't see very many colors in this picture. And lastly, sometimes when you're in a sandy environment, it can be very windy. Can you think of any other adjectives to describe this picture? All right, it's time for another matching game. What you're going to do is you're going to match the adjective on the left with the noun on the right. Now, just a reminder, nouns are people, places, things, or animals. So let's read all the adjectives we have on the left. Smart, hairy, scary, sour, and cuddly. Now, the nouns on the right are teddy bear, movie, lemon, legs, and scholar. Let's see if you can match the adjective with the noun on the right. Give it a try. Time to test those brains of yours. So here's the answers. Number 1, smart scholar. Number 2, hairy legs. Number 3, scary movie. Number 4, sour lemon. And number 5, cuddly teddy bear. Would you believe me if I said I still sleep with a cuddly teddy bear? Do you? And how many of these did you get correct? Since we haven't yet, it's time that we sing together. This song is called Witch's Brew, and it's filled with adjectives. So your goal while I'm singing is to listen for all the adjectives that you hear. If it's hard for you to see the words, listen to my sound. Dead leaves, seaweed, rotten eggs too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. Spider web, moldy bread, mucky mud too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. Ooh, my witch's brew. Ooh, what's it gonna do to you? Boo. Floor wax, thumbtacks, purple paint too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. Fingernails, lunch pails, apple cores too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. Ooh, my witch's brew. Ooh, what's it gonna do to you? Boo. Wrinkled prunes, mushrooms, motor oil too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. Woo! Okay, so I tried to sing that. If you would like to try, you can make the picture larger and try it on your own. How many adjectives did you hear in this song? I heard a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the second stanza together and we're going to go over all the adjectives. The second stanza says, spider web, moldy bread, mucky mud too. Stir them in my witch's brew. I got magic, alakazam kazoo. The first adjective that I hear is spider. And even though that is a noun, it's actually describing the web. What kind of web? A spider web. The next one is moldy. And moldy is describing the bread. Moldy bread. Can you find the third one? Excellent. Mucky. Mucky mud. And the last one is witches. And even though that is also a noun, in this sentence, it's an adjective because it's describing the brew. Excellent job singing. Let me hear it again. How successful were you in today's lesson? Was the objective met? Can you define what an adjective is? Can you use at least 3 adjectives to describe a particular object or person? Excellent. So that means that you completely successfully completed today's lesson. Now let's move on to your exit ticket. Now, I really want you to have fun with today's exit ticket. What you have to do is find a funny picture in your house. It can be of you, it could be of your family, it could be of just something that you took a picture of. Or if you don't have any photos, you can draw one on your own. I want you to use adjectives in complete sentences to describe your picture. 3 or 4 sentences is good. So I gave you an example. So take a look at the picture on the right. So one sentence I could use would be, his long tongue stuck out and got saliva everywhere. Ew. So my adjective will be long because long is describing his tongue. So once you find your funny picture or you create one, write your 3 or 4 sentences to describe it, and then upload the finished product on your Google Classroom. I had so much fun with everyone in learning about adjectives today. Can't wait to see you on our next lesson.